Nice little way to make a nice stew. This is a lamb bone. Cost £1.50. I roasted it for half an hour at 200 Celsius. Now I'm going to add some veg. First thing I'm going to add, some fresh mushrooms. If I can get my hand in there. Trick is, leave the base of the mushrooms behind. That way they can continue to grow and respawn into more mushrooms. Shove that down there. And there we go. Mushrooms. Just in case you've got any bugs, it is normal if you're growing your own mushrooms to have a few bugs or insects on them. It's normal, it's not an issue. Give them a quick rinse. That is really cool. Nice and fresh. You know when they're properly ripe is when the fins are open. That means, I don't like having them, if you get them younger, when they're not quite this ripe, then that means you're getting it fresher and it tastes nicer, but it also means that they've not spawned the next generation. By having them open like this, it means the spore has come out to make more babies. I don't want them all exactly the same size and shape. If I wanted regularity, I'll go to McDonald's. Something like this, you could just chuck it in on its own, boil it up to a paste, have it as mushroom soup. When I put stuff in the pot, what I want to cook the longest goes in the bottom. So the lamb bones, throw a bit of fat and meat on it. I want to boil that quite a bit to get all the flavour out. Those amount of ribs, you could put that into a gallon stew easily and it would have a good flavour to it. If you roast it first, it breaks it down so you can actually get to the calcium in the marrow bone more easily. Keep the lid on, get the bugs out. A couple of spuds. How much I love this knife. It's ceramic, not metal. The only issue with it is that because it's such a smooth blade, things can stick to it. But it's a really good blade. Cut it the shape that you want, sweet. Okay, cutting. Potato. Slice it in half first. That way you've got a solid base to sit on. Hold it in place with your fingers. There you go. Hold it in place with your fingers. When you come down with the blade, cut at an angle so your knuckles are hitting the flat of the blade. Go down. And that's it. Same again. Blade at an angle. That way it's less chance you chop your fingers off. Which hurts, I know. If they're not broken up, give them a squeeze, they break up. This manky little thing is actually one of my really hot chili pepper that I grew on the window ledge. And then, God, it's really hot. I just bit it in half with my tongue. There. But that is basically all I need. It is a hot chili pepper, But it looks so manky because it was in the freezer. I mean, it does look nice, but all the flavour of the heat is still there. Right. Normally I don't bother peeling carrots, but these were looking a bit manky, so they got peeled. Down the middle, lay them flat so they're not going to run away. Like I say, normally I wouldn't peel them, but they were getting to the point where you're thinking, do you want to throw them away? No, you don't throw them away. Worst case scenario, you can just tuck them in the garden and they may grow into baby carrots, new carrots, more carrots. I got potatoes growing in the garden and all they were was just the little nipple ends that grow when the bag's been sat too long. And they grew into baby carrots, carrot plants, more carrots. Potatoes, not carrots, potatoes. My brain. If you can't eat it raw, why would you want to cook it? The reason I leave like that much on the end when I chop it off is that way it's got more chance of growing into a new plant. You scoop it up, put it in, just put the blade at a downward angle. Give it a shake so you don't drop it on the floor behind the back of the cooker. Those mushrooms smell, it's not even cooking yet, but there's the smell of the mushrooms because they're fresh compared to the carrots which have been sat in a bag for the past 4 days. Let's face it, you don't get to have food in your own country that's produced in your own country. It's one of these ways of controlling people. They control the food you eat, they control what's in the food, the chemicals used. They call it securing global economy with a common economic region, therefore they won't go to war with you because you're feeding them. Translation, this way America gets to control how much they charge. And also, what other chemicals go into your food. Grip on my hand is starting to go. This is the issue when you've got smashed up tendons. 3 second rule? Don't care. When you've got smashed up tendons, your grip can go at any minute. That's why the knuckles are starting to go red. Not good when you like to throw knives. Now I'm going to fit everything in that pot. Yes, it will always fit. I mean, if I don't fit the carrots in, all I'm going to do is put them in the freezer. I've got onions in the freezer. I forgot about that. I've got onions. I must put at least 1 onion in here. Because onion, especially with the humidity we've got, the heat, they're going to rot. So what you can do with your veg, you can chop it up, boil it down until you get down to the sludge. Then just stick it in a little plastic bag, put it in the freezer. Onion. Just the 1 onion. I do actually have frozen veg, it's just the frozen veg is an emergency thing for me. I'd rather use the fresh, but it's nice for a treat sometimes, just to get in some runner beans, green beans, however you want to call them these days. Just add some of those, boil them up, maybe add a bit of like swede or sweet corn, boil it up for 10 minutes, drain it, add margarine, butter or something, bit of salt, and it's really nice as a treat. And I should have thought I was eating a bit of carrot. Okay, I'm running out of space in there. Because I've still got cabbage. See, cabbage is a bit different to the rest of the veg. The rest of this stuff, you want to have it submerged. Whereas the cabbage is quite happy to be steamed. You can steam any veg, but it takes longer. Whereas the cabbage is quite nice to just sit it on top so it can steam. Yes, I got more than one pot, but if I cook with more than one pot, there's more chance of me throwing food away, which I don't want to do. That's it. I can have those 3 left over for snacks. Cabbage. Because cabbages are not picked by machine, they're picked by hand, I always take off the outer layer. No matter what it looks like, I always take off the outer layer. Any black bits. If you were post-apocalyptic type place, then you take all your cuttings that look manky and all the rest of it, and you just put them in a stock pot and boil it up to make stock. Boiling gets rid of pretty much all your nasty bacteria and your germs. Also, you don't have to boil stuff to do that. Pasteurization works out about, I think it's 60 degrees Celsius. So if you simmer something at 60 Celsius for, I think 10 minutes, it's the same as boiling. So, you know, for like water and stuff. But if you want to get clean water, don't boil the water to get clean water, because you're leaving all the crap behind there in a condensed form. Boil it, put something on top to catch the steam so it can condense, distill to another pot, and that way you'll have distilled water. Boiled water, not always that clean. Right, that is it. I'm not going to bother much seasoning. A teaspoon of salt, a little sprinkle of pepper, maybe half a teaspoon of pepper, and then 4/5 maybe, 3/4 filled with water, and put it on the boil for half an hour. As soon as you hear it boiling, turn the temperature down to second to lowest setting, so a 2 or a 3, just so it can simmer for about 20 minutes. I'm not doing it at the moment, but what you can do with your carrot peelings, put them into your home brew. After a couple of weeks, it takes on the flavour of the carrots and it gives it a really nice sweetness. Right, so roughly half an hour. We have lovely. Now the very top of it is looking a bit weird because that's the pepper. Now I get to mix it all in. Bit difficult because of how much there is, but that is just a treat. Wow, that is a lot of flavour. Give you an idea. You see the colour. There's a slight sheen to it, I don't know if you can see the colour or not. But the greasiness, that is just from the lamb. Which, if you don't cook with meat, you won't understand, but that is flavour. And the nice thing is that is so much flavour in there, you can just scoop off the veg, leave the meat in there, and the bone in there, which is somewhere in the very bottom, and you just keep adding veg. And you can do that for officially 1 day. I've done it for 2 weeks. Just leaving a lamb bone submerged, boiling it away until all you get left is like a white sludge of calcium. But that was a different life. These days you have to be a snob. You're not allowed to maximise the efficiency of everything you have and do. You can scrape some of the meat off if you want. Personally, if I'm doing a stew like this, I don't generally touch the meat until I can actually just scrape it off the bone like that. Because otherwise it means there's still a lot of stuff in there you can take off it. If you want, you can take some out and just have a munch. Hot, hot, very hot. See, my issue is that small fridge, small freezer, therefore, and mine's already full. So I can't really fit anything more in my freezer to freeze or in the fridge. So I'm going to be taking some of this. This is belly. Wow, very hot. So that can come off. And a bit of rib. See, the rib can go back in. Another thing you can do with the ribs, if you want to just get a pair of pliers and just crush them so they snap, that way you can get to the marrow bone a bit more easily. So that is a lamb stew. The lamb bone was out of date. I'd forgotten it was in the fridge. And it said used by certain date. That was 4 days ago. You can generally smell if the meat's gone off. It hadn't gone off, it was fine. So that is going to stay there. And that'll do me for a couple of days. You can flush it up with a bit of bread and butter. Another thing that's really, really good, one of my little essentials for life, knowing how to cook rice. You can just bung in some rice on top, and overnight that will soak up the moisture and give you more food. Another thing is some form of fat like butter or margarine or even just cooking oil, mix with plain flour, mix it together, and that will give you a dough. You can use that dough as a pastry for apple pie, for fruit pie, for meat pie. You could also use it, wrap it into a little ball, put it in here whilst it's simmering away for 20 minutes. That'll give you doughboys or donuts, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, it's a really nice, simple thing to do. Bit of oil, flour, make it in the balls, put them in there, and they will thicken up. It's really nice because they absorb the flavour from inside here. Now I'm going to go and eat my food. Living a cheap lifestyle means that now and again you can afford a little luxury, like real butter. Little clue for real butter: heat your spoon up with your knife first, that melts it, and that way you can just melt it off and put it on. Just make sure you heat up your spoon first or your knife. So now and again it's nice to have a little treat. If you want a spread that is nice and smooth and even all over, go and get yourself some cheap oil-based stuff. I want a nice thick chunk that is not the same flavour with every bite. I want every bite to be a little bit different. That way it's not mass-produced. Everything in this is natural, or as natural as you're going to get buying your meats and veg from a shop. Now, if it is a bit bland, you want some more flavour, rather than just using meat, or if you want to do a different version, what I can do, gravy granules, and that's it. Give it a mix round, and that will give you a really nice extra flavour. You're not putting enough in to thicken it. Gravy granules is basically stock and corn flour. That's the basics. So just, put a tablespoon in. You're not doing it to make it thicker. You're doing it to give it flavour and body. And steam the camera. Yeah, there we go. But that will give it a nice extra bit of flavour.